In October of 2023, Universal Pictures, along with Blumhouse, gave us a film adaptation of the hit video game franchise Five Nights at Freddy's. And last December, we got a new sequel in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which is now available on physical media and streaming on Peacock. But is it really that bad as the critics say? I know it's not great though, but well, I'm gonna say, or can I well prove they're wrong by getting into their heads with a little animatronic action? Find out in this spoiler-free review right now. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome again to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. I'm the Big D, and this time around, I bring to you a review of the 2025 supernatural horror flick Five Nights at Freddy's 2, released by Universal along with Blumhouse. Once again, directed by Emma Tammy and was written by the creator of the video game franchise it's based on, Scott Cawthon. This, of course, is based off of the video game franchise of the same name. Now, of course, unlike the first film, Cawthon has actually written the story by himself. Not just by himself, no one else. Josh Hutcherson, Elizabeth Lail, Piper Rubio, and Matthew Lillard reprise their roles from the first film, with Wayne Knight joining the cast. This film is set a year and a half after the previous film, following Abby Schmidt as she gets manipulated by the marionette and animatronic from the original Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, who aims to plot revenge against parents. Now, of course, I've done a spoiler-free review of the first film, so if you want to hear my thoughts on that, check it out before you go into this one by clicking on that. Okay, that'll do. Okay, let's go. Now, like with the first film, it really got dissed and what have you, but nevertheless, it still became successful. Now, let's get into the story. I won't get into much of this because this is a spoiler-free review, and you already know that. In 1982, at the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza restaurant, Charlotte Emily witnesses its co-founder William Afton lure a boy into the back rooms to kill him. Her pleas for help are ignored by nearby parents, so she rescues the boy herself despite the protestations of her best friend Vanessa, William's daughter. Charlotte is fatally stabbed by William, falls through an onstage trapdoor, and is held by the marionette animatronic. The incident is suppressed, and the restaurant is subsequently shut down. Another restaurant in the Freddy Fazbear's franchise opens sometime later, where William murders five more children. In 2002, 2 years later, after William was killed by the spirits of his victims at the franchise location, the legends of the murders spawn a horror festival called FazFest. Abby misses her ghostly friends and repeatedly asks her older brother, Mike, to repair the animatronics they inhabited. Believing the spirits are dangerous and have moved on, Mike repeatedly makes excuses until Abby returns to the franchise location herself. Mike finds her there, apologizes for lying, and discovers a talking toy called the Faz Talker. Meanwhile, the adult Vanessa struggles with the trauma of her father's crimes and abuse. And meanwhile, three ghost hunters, Lisa, Alex, and Rob, tour the original restaurant with security guard Michael. But Lisa finds deactivates a music box awaiting the marionette, which is possessed by Charlotte's vengeful spirit, and soon takes over Lisa and control of the restaurant's toy animatronics. Now that's all the story I'm going to give to you. So if you want to know what happens next, then watch the movie. Now, my thoughts on the film was, well, it's better. It's better than the first one, but maybe not great still. But at least I appreciated them doing a little bit better and what have you. So apparently, I found the film to be fine and what have you. I mean, well, I've never played the games though. I just know of them though. But this film, I am gonna say it was just fine. Well, the film really got tons of hate more than its predecessor, and critics deemed that it was more ambitious than its predecessor, but fell flat on both storytelling and scares. Well, it kind of did have a little bit of a fright or two, but maybe not as much. The story I feel is fine, but maybe not that great though. But I do feel like it's pretty darn ambitious. Rotten Tomatoes has this at a mere 16% on their tomato meter, which is way off from the 33% its predecessor got. Well, and they say a step down from an R-rated clunky original. This goes through the motions with all the grace of a malfunctioning animatronic. Metacritic has a score 26, and audiences polled by CinemaScore gave it a B, down from the A minus the first film got. Well, I can't really find much of anything that managed to defend this film, so I'm defending this as best as I could and what have you. Now, okay, here's one I found. From RogerEbert.com, Simon Abrams gave this 3 out of 4 stars, praising the storytelling, the visuals, and horror adventure tone. I will say that's pretty good and what have you. But I don't really know how to put this any way though. But anywho, this film was more recently nominated for at the Razzies, just for one nomination for the in the category for worst remake, ripoff, or sequel, but lost to the Prime Video exclusive of War of the Worlds, which I'm glad I didn't watch that. Looked horrible. Anyway, despite the hate it got, the film still did decent enough, though it fell just short of a little more short of its predecessor. The film went on to make 239 million, almost 204 million against its 36 to 51 million dollar budget, even though that's kind of off from the 297 million its predecessor made. But nevertheless, the film did fine, what have you. Now, possibly, are we gonna get a third one? I am not entirely sure, but well, there is like somewhere between like a mid credit scene. Or yeah, there's a mid credit scene in the film, so that might be a possibility. But that'll be up to them to do that. The Nguyen brothers once again do the film's score, and I'm going to say that was pretty good. That See, a film score is probably one of the few things that saves this film from being a total disaster. I give that props. Now, for the cast, we have Josh Hutcherson once again reprising his role as Mike Schmidt, who was a former security guard at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. He's pretty good. Elizabeth Lail once again plays Vanessa Shelley. She's good. Now, I do like the performance we got from young Piper Rubio, who once again plays the role of Abby, Mike's younger sister. And we do see a little bit of him, but maybe not as much. Matthew Lillard as William Afton. Now, for the rest of the cast, we have Freddie Carter as Michael Afton, who happens to be William's son. Yes. Theodis Crane played Mike's former co-worker Jeremiah. Not bad. McKenna Grace played a paranormal activity hunter. Well, one of those. Lisa. That was pretty cool. Let's see. And Skeet Ulrich's in this as well as Henry Emily. I have to say, it was a surprise to see him in that. And Wayne Knight as Mr. Burke, Abby's middle school science teacher, who he's kind of I don't know, a little yeah. Even when Abby's trying to give her a little science project by creating something very special out of one of the characters at Fazbear's in the form of Chica, which reminds me the voice of Toy Chica is done by none other than, be ready for this, Megan Fox herself. Yep, you heard me correctly. Megan Fox herself. Boy, I was surprised. I wasn't aware of that until I saw her name in the credits. So overall, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, while I can't possibly defend it too much, but I felt like it was just a tiny bit of a step up from the first one. I did like this a little more and what have you. And I did like the 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 fast talker and what have you, and the idea of the fast fest. That was pretty cool. But overall, it's still not enough to save this. And if they are going, and if Universal and Blumhouse try to do a third film, I wish them the best of luck. They're gonna need it. But of the whole, I found the film to be a little bit better, but not great though. Anyway, you can get the film on physical media now, and the film just now got released on Peacock. So look for it there. So that's about all I can say. For my score, I'm gonna give Five Nights at Freddy's 2, 3.5 stars. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving it a 7.5. So what did you think of Five Nights at Freddy's 2? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. And I'm happy to report I am now at the halfway mark to 1,200 subscribers. Thank you. Keep it up, everyone. Please stand by. Okay, join me next time when I bring to you a review of a real film, another film that I think people probably didn't care much for, but was still a guilty pleasure. Just Visiting, which is one of the films that's celebrating an anniversary this month. So if you like this, consider checking out my reviews for these other Blumhouse films. In the upper left-hand corner, you can check out my spoiler-free review of one of the most coolest films I've ever seen, and it really my review of this tore through the roof. Megan, which was of course released the same year as the first film was in Five Nights at Freddy's. Or you can go to the upper right hand corner and see my spoiler-free review of its sequel from last year. Or go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my spoiler-free review of a recent hit. Well, before Five Nights at Freddy's 2 came out, it's another sequel in Black Phone 2. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.